Why are the world's biggest brands suddenly trying to look less polished? Oatly, with its wonky typography and handwritten asides on the side of the carton. Grazia olive oil that feels like it was designed by someone's cool friend rather than a brand agency. These are premium products on competitive shelves that made a deliberate choice to look like a person made them. Notion built their entire marketing aesthetic around hand-drawn illustrations, loose, sketchy characters, imperfect lines, and at the time it felt like a quirky choice, but it carved out a completely distinct feeling in a category full of cold, precise interfaces. And tools like Granola are doing the same thing now with warm, earthy tones that feel more like a physical notebook than a piece of software in their recent brand refresh. And then look at luxury. Bottega Veneta under Daniel Lee leaned hard into raw texture, imperfect craft, the visible hand of the maker. And Loewe has built an entire brand identity around celebrating artisanal imperfection. The kind of thing that would have felt risky even 10 years ago in a category obsessed with flawlessness, but now it feels like exactly the right instinct. So what's actually connecting all of these across such different categories? Because on the surface, a carton of oat milk and a £4,000 leather bag don't really have that much in common. But the underlying thing is the same, which is that when the dominant environment makes perfection effortless and therefore meaningless as it's just too easy to attain, the thing that communicates quality is evidence that a human was involved. We're at a point where the tools available to anyone mean that clean, finished and professional no longer signals craft or care. It just signals access to the same software as everyone else. So the brands that are actually cutting through are the ones where you can feel a decision was made, even an imperfect one, because that is genuinely hard to replicate at scale. And this isn't about being deliberately rough or quirky for its own sake either. Liquid Death built a $1 billion valuation on aggressive raw energy that looks almost ugly on purpose. And Tony's Chocolonely uses deliberately uneven chocolate and chaotic typography to communicate something true about their supply chain. So the imperfection is the message, not just the aesthetic. The thing worth being honest about, though, is that this only works when there's something genuinely human underneath it. The brands that do it badly are the ones where the hand-drawn illustrations or the earthy colour palettes is just sitting on top of something that doesn't really have personality, and people feel that disconnect, even if they can't name it. So the question, if you're building a brand right now, isn't really, should I make it feel more human? It's whether there's something specific and human about what you're building that's worth expressing, because if there is, this is probably your biggest differentiator in the current climate. And if there isn't, that's the thing to work on before you go near the visuals.